No, it's all good. So it's been about, I guess about 2 weeks now since we have been steady taking the drops as directed. It definitely took me and Brett a couple of days to work out the kinks of remembering and getting in the new habit. Um, but I guess we're about, would you say, Brett, about 2 weeks in, week and a half maybe for him, 2 weeks for me. And yeah, like I mentioned, I've lost a couple of pounds, but that's truly like a side note to me. The mental clarity and the fact that I can be present in hard moments without being overwhelmed,
Hmm.
without being stressed. And my holistic medicine doctor that me and Brett have been seeing for a while, her name is Dr. D. She's based out of Birmingham, but she has clients all over. She has like top level of mine and Brett's respect when it comes to naturopathic medicine and holistic medicine treatment. Um, when she first told me and Brett about the drops, it truly, I was like, you're telling me that all of these things you've been talking to me about, my health for months now, can be fixed with one product. It was just like, okay, I can pause thinking on all these other supplements and put my focus on this one thing to know if it's truly the piece that's working for me. You know, sometimes we're
Hmm.
on so many different things that it's like, okay, well, I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink at my body's problems. I don't know exactly which piece is working for me, but something's working. So I'm just going to keep doing all of it. And financially, like we have to choose in our family what specific thing we're going to try. And if it works, then we're going to stick to it. And to be able to pause everything else that we were doing and focus on one product to say, let's do this and do it right for 90 days and see what happens. And then to be laughing about like, oh, I gave it 90 days, but then my body was like, oh, just kidding. 48 hours later, we're great. And you know, it may not happen like that for everybody, but it truly, I called my best friend and I was like, listen, I hadn't stepped on a scale yet, but my brain is present. I can cope with frustrating moments without spiraling. I can be overwhelmed with thoughts, but not feel overwhelmed.
Hmm.
Like for the first time in years, I can have the mental clarity of what needs to be done in my household. I don't know if there's probably a couple people who, Reese, I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a property manager across state lines. I have a rental property that is 5 apartments that I manage in Starkville, Mississippi, which is almost 5 hours away from where we live. That is I will not say a full-time job, but it keeps me busy. Um, I like to say I'm the property manager and Brett's my maintenance man. So I do that part-time. I have been running a Mary Kay business since 2012, and that's a very part-time. I have a portfolio of very faithful customers that I love on and provide products for, Miss Ferris being one of those. But I'm not in a season with Mary Kay of actively building my business. I was an
Hmm.
executive with Mary Kay, and I stepped down to focus on my family when my firstborn came into the world. But besides that, I homeschool our 3 children. Me and Brett came to Pensacola 2 years ago to uh, begin a house church network ministry, which is very unique and outside of our comfort zone. But the Lord has done some super amazing things through that. So, anyways, all that to say, um, I'm not someone who has a lot of free time, and my brain is always in at least 6 places at once. And that has led to constantly feeling distracted, overwhelmed, overstimulated. And I just thought that that was normal for the season of my life. And I had pretty much accepted that overwhelmed is just how I'm going to live. And, you know, it's one thing to say like, oh, well, yeah, we're in a tight season right now. We're in a tough season right now. We're in a busy season right now. And it's hard, but I still have joy. Like Jesus is still my joy. I'm fighting through
Hmm.
it. I know I still have joy. And I know joy is not a feeling, but all of a sudden I've gone from being like, yes, I have joy. I still have Jesus. This is a hard season, but I still have Jesus to going, oh, no, I feel it again. I feel
Hmm.
it again. I'm experiencing it again. It's not just oh, I still have joy and peace because I know I still have Jesus. This is a hard time, but all of a sudden, like all the fog, all the frustration is gone, and I have full presence of mind and peace.
Hmm.
And it's something that I didn't realize how far I had tumbled and lost it, because I think it happens so slowly over time that we just become used to being in a fog or being stuck in our emotions or being stuck in these frustrating cycles emotionally. I'm sure men struggle with that in a different way, but especially as women, we can just get in these patterns of, once that cortisol spike happens and takes over, it's a spiral of stress and frustration that we cannot get a grip back on. And
Hmm.
it's like, man, I just need to go take a nap to reset my brain, and then I'll try to do this day again. And I haven't had to take a nap to reset my brain since I started the drops. And it's just like, I told my friend Ashley that's here, I'm not mentally and emotionally, I'm not the same person that I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
I've just been sharing that testimony with my friends and family. Lord knows I don't have time to start a business right now, so I'm not. But I am sharing with people that I love how this has changed me as a mom and as a follower of Jesus, that I can be a more true representation of the Holy Spirit in me when my brain and my hormones are not in the way.
Yeah.
So praise the Lord for this. Praise the Lord for this community. I'm super thankful. Um, I hope that, I know it's hard financially for some people to jump into something that they're unsure about, but I'm seriously just like, Lord, make a way for people to experience what I have experienced, because it is truly, it's really changed my family because it has changed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing because some of those things, exact things that you just shared, I can tell you I have felt the exact same way because one of the things I said, if I didn't lose any more weight, and um, I'm down 40 pounds as of this morning. So I'm definitely celebrating that. But I started in April, and I'll just show you this is a before picture. I'm going to just share real quick my before picture. Let's get here. Maybe I can. So this was me 2 months ago. Well, a little over a month and a half ago, maybe. I started April 5th, and I didn't even realize that I even looked different. And the green sweater,
Wow.
this was my Christmas picture, and I thought I looked like I had lost some weight. But this picture was actually taken by Dr. D when she
Wow.
was here a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. And she said, "Oh my gosh, Connie, look how skinny your face is." And I didn't even notice the inflammation in the face before. So I
Wow.
started these drops on April 5th. And just on the advice of a friend that said, "Hey, do you trust me? Would you be willing to try something?" And I said, "I trust you implicitly." And so I started the drops, and within a couple of weeks, I was down 10 pounds. And then in about 6 weeks, I was down, or in 2 months, I was down 30 pounds.
Wow.
And eating the program, doing the drops religiously, but feeling amazing. This November, I'll be 62, and I feel like I'm in my 30s. And I
Wow.
said, even if I don't lose any more weight, which I will,
Right.
I'm going to be losing more weight, but I the way I feel sleeping, just I
Yeah.
just feel so amazing. So it's just it's life changing. I mean,
Yeah.
and it absolutely is life changing. And so, yes, Reese, I'll see if I can do that. You're I'm like, I'm not sure if I can do that, but maybe. Um, Hold on just 1 second.
I just happened to make my iPad host so I could share. But that
Yeah.
that all those two testimonies right there are why we do what we do. It's
Hmm.
why I'm doing this. It's I'll tell my testimony here in just a little bit, but the drops in the company have truly changed mine and my wife's life. No doubt about it. I'm going to share my screen real quick and do a quick little presentation. It won't take long at all. That's all right. It's rolling up. And then Keynote wanted to disappear though. There we go. All right, guys. Again, my name's Reese Antley. I am from Florida, live in Port St. Joe, right on the coast. Have 5 kids. My wife Ashley is the one that brought this into our lives, and I'll tell a little bit of story about that in just a second. But the name of the company that offers the drops is Partner Co. or Partner.co. The company itself is only 2 years old. However, the drops and the other products have been around for many more years. The owners, John and Darren here, Darren has been with one of our brands for 25 years. And I'm sorry, John has. And then Darren is actually from my world in seafood. These guys came together, bought the assets of the company. So what ends up happening is we're a brand new company, um, but we have the infrastructure and the distribution, manufacturing, the warehousing in 58 different countries around the world. So you can truly have a global business. And I never forget when Todd Rowland, who's my mentor, said he was showing me this for the first time. And he said, "You can have a global virtual franchise." And I looked at him and I was sitting there with my wife and I said, "We can have a global virtual franchise," kind of making fun of him a little bit. And he said, and he just kind of laughed about it and I laughed about it. But, on the way home, I was kind of excited about it. I told Ashley, I was like, maybe we know a couple people in Mexico. We go down there often. We do mission trips, things here and there in different parts of the world. And we thought maybe we will. But we're only just over 2 years into this, and our team is in 28 different countries. It's amazing how this just happens and flows out of here. It has truly changed our lives. We have over 100 different products, anything from clean energy drinks to skincare to one of my favorites, which is our 36 superfoods pouch. We have an HGH product that allows your body to create its natural own HGH again. And then, of course, the drops, and then Tahitian noni and a few other products. But the difference in our products here in the US, supplements are actually treated like food. But we treat ours like pharmaceuticals. What's in there is what we say is in there is in there. We have a team of over 100 doctors now worldwide, led by Dr. Ray Strand, who is the author of What Your Doctor Doesn't Know About Nutritional Medicine May Be Killing You. It's a New York Times bestseller. But he's a family practitioner that believes wholly in natural medicine now, not something that he grew up or thought he would ever be promoting, but it saved his wife's life. And then
Wow.
we have people like Dr. Pena. We have a wellness council that my wife Ashley sits on. But what separates our products is the fact that we do clinical studies. We do clinical studies. We do studies. We do third party testing. So much so that we have at least six of our products now are in the physician's desk reference, which is huge for a supplement. It's very tough for supplements to get in there. We hire the best people. Dr. Joshua Plant just came on board, and he's one of the top scientists in this space. But what we keep talking about are the drops. And you've heard Baily and Connie both mention the drops. And what the drops are they're an all natural homeopathic. The first dropper that you see there, we take 3 times a day. You just put it under your tongue at least 10 minutes before you eat. You don't have to eat, and you hold it there for about 10 to 30 seconds, and then you swallow. And what that does, there's 11 different plant leaves in that help things like your appetite control, balance out your pancreas and your insulin secretion, balances out your thyroid. So people that have, an overactive thyroid, underactive, it balances that out. So then your body's telling you when you're hungry and when you're not hungry. And then that second bottle is our energy or our accelerate. It has the methylated form of B12 in it. It has ashwagandha, rhodiola in it, things that really help that stress hormone. Baily was kind of talking about that a little bit at the beginning, always going, always going, always going. So that stress is always there and it's always in a cycle. But that stress, that cortisol, is what generates that belly fat a lot of times. Your body
Mhm.
goes into a mode where it's just storing belly fat when you're stressed out. So that's really our second bottle, and you take that twice a day. Now, we do have an approved food list. Again, this is just a low glycemic food list. It's very similar to something like keto or paleo. The fact is there is no miracle cure out there that you can go take a pill or a drop or whatever, and you can eat 3 pizzas a day and lose weight. No, you have to eat right. You have to eat how God
Yep.
intended us to eat, and that's what these are: whole foods, from nature, that aren't processed. And the difference with this, though, for me, when I tried things like keto and paleo, I would have success. I would lose weight, but within 3 or 4 weeks, I was so addicted to sugar that I would start to become this grump, and my wife would be like, and the kids would be like, I don't care if you're fat or not. But we're tired of dealing with your grumpy butt. Go eat a Snickers. And so I would start eating sugar again, and all that weight would come back on. So this is me and my wife. My wife was trying to get on. She's traveling to Georgia right now. But Ashley is the one that started this thing. She came in and she came in with this box of drops and she said, "Hey, I'm going to do these, we call them skinny drops. I'm going to do these skinny drops and I'm going to do this business." And I told her, "So you're going to be a snake oil salesman?" I told her that the drops were snake oil. I told them that they would never work. I told her the business would never work. And I told her, just don't lose too much money. We both make good money. I'm an executive in a large seafood company, have been for the past 16 years. My wife's in the medical field. We make good money, but we live paycheck to paycheck. So I'm like, it's not in our budget, so don't spend too much. And so, anyways, my wife's a firecracker, and me trying to tell her what to do and tell her and make fun of her new business didn't go over well. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take the drops. And I took the drops to just kind of show her that they weren't going to work. And I ended up losing 65 pounds. After about a week and a half on these things is when they kind of started kicking in for me, is where I was drinking 6 Pepsis a day. I would get up, go to the refrigerator, and get a Pepsi. I didn't drink water, any of that. I would go to bed. When I go to bed, since I've been 3 years old, I have to have something sweet and a cold glass of milk. A lot of times it was Oreos, and I'm not talking 2 or 3 Oreos. I'm talking 2 sleeves of Oreos, and that's why I was 300 pounds. And after about a week and a half, I noticed that I didn't have to fight myself not to go to the refrigerator. When I laid down that night, I didn't even think about the cookies, which I normally had to have before I could ever even settle down. And so I'm like, man, maybe there is something to it. And like I said, I ended up losing a total of 65 pounds in about 9 months. I've kept that weight off. I'm not on the drops currently. My wife, however, she started and she wanted to just lose about 10 pounds. She lost 15 pounds in about a month, but she stays on them for the exact reasons, Bailey, you were talking about. She has no more night sweats. She has the brain fog's gone. She's off her antidepressants. Again, we can't
Right.
make claims that this is what, but I'm just telling you that's the only thing that changed in our lives where she was
Yeah,
taking these drops. And so now we have I'll never let her go without her drops, and she'll never go without them because it's a much happier place with
that's
her
great.
on the drops. But they have truly changed our lives. And then on the business side of it, when Ashley started doing this, I thought there was no way we would ever make money doing this. And within just a few weeks, she went and bought a guitar, and I'm like, babe, we cannot afford that. That's not in our budget. And she's like, well, I got paid from Partner Co. I can buy what I want to. I'm like, really? How much could that be? And she showed me, and that's when Todd came over and showed me this same thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is legit. I'm a business guy, very analytical, but I'd always been told that this is not that there was no way you could make money in this. But I can tell you we've made good money in this. We've replaced our income totally with this. Actually, more than double our W-2 income now because of this. So much so now I'm going to be able to retire at 45, which is absolutely outstanding because I thought I was going to work until I died. So I'm actually getting ready to retire from that and do this when I want to. You can see all these different pictures. This is Randy. He actually lost 170 pounds in just over a year. Kim Gray's one of my favorite stories. She has muscular dystrophy. She can't work out. She's lost 112 pounds. She's kept it off for over 5 years now. Jerry and Allison, Courtney. Just one thing you'll see is people that are fit that just need to lose a little bit. A lot of people, 40% of the people on our team don't need to lose weight. They take them for the way they make them feel. These drops were originally created to balance women's hormones, and the side effect is weight loss.
Mm.
You can see all the different, doesn't matter male, female, doesn't matter ethnicity, doesn't matter age. These drops work. They're basic, we call them liquid discipline. You see so many stories. And what's crazy about these stories is I know every single one of these people I'm showing you. This isn't something somebody sent me and said, hey, check these out. You can use these. No,
Okay.
I know their stories. I know where they start. Valley is in Panama City, just close to me. Here's Miss Linda over in Arkansas. And then Dr. Crystal. Dr. Crystal, she has alopecia. She has to take a steroid. or had to. She actually ended up losing 162 pounds on the drops, more than what she weighs now, and she's kept it off for 5 years. And now she shut down her. She's a doctor. She totally shut down her practice, and she does this full time.
Wow.
So we have like there's other products that we can talk about too, and I'm more than welcome to talk about that. But when we're talking about the drops, you can buy at retail. Retail is $176. You can buy from Baily, no problem. She can sell you at 176, or it's jumping around, or you can do one time 29.95 and join. That gives you your replicated website, which you can sell off of. You can send a link and you'll get paid for any sales that happen there. Your back office that keeps up with it. The Partner Co Share app. Again, we're in 58 countries. So what that Partner Co Share app is it has all the documentation to all the products in every country in their language. So if you have somebody in France that needs the information on the drops in France, you just change the flag to France, send that information, and it's in French. And then you also get what we have our boards app, and that's really what makes our business system go. Anybody can take this app, takes about an hour of training, and then you're off and running with your business. It's circled and built around Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and some of these before and afters that I just showed you in testimonies. And we post twice a day, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But then you just activate your business. You can buy or sell your way there. You can buy, a lot of people pre-sell this. I've had people, a girl that just actually got her savings bonus. She started with the $30. She didn't have another dime in her bank account. She pre-sold three of these boxes. That gave her enough. She sold them at 150. She sells them, so that's 450. She goes and buys the 4 pack for 371. She gets her box for free. She got those three sold, and she paid for her business and put a little money in her account. And now her business is all in the profit side of things. You can also do a 10 pack when you sell at 176 or just a little bit less than that. You can actually make over $600 on the 10 pack, and then on the 30 pack, that's the best way to come in because it's the bulk buying. And this puts you at what we call top pay. Once you sell 1,500 PV of product or buy 1,500 PV of product, you are at top pay. And then what this is when the 30 pack, you sell all these 30 packs at 167 per box, and at 2,300, it puts you over $2,500 profit. 90% of the people that come on that end up buying the 30 pack will sell that in the first week or the first 2 weeks. With the system, it really just people come to you. You're not going out and selling, which is absolutely outstanding. So the social media is what I was talking about. That's where we're posting 2 times a day with this boards app. You can set your Facebook to professional mode, and you can start your posting, and you can actually schedule your post out for 30 days if you want to. All the pictures that you need, and again, we know all these stories. These aren't just pictures we're giving you that say, these stories are real people, real results. And then you just post that, people come to you and you just respond and you sell boxes that way. And we have people, and this is the app called Boards, and here are some of the posts. It's basically just a keyboard. And then we boost engage and you can schedule them. There's some more of the posts right there. And then we insert our people into Partners in Health or Circles in Health. This is where our customers can go and they can be loved on, not where they can go ask questions and not have to worry about people belittling them or making fun of their question or making them feel less. No, we're there to love on them and help them through this process of losing weight and getting better health. And then if you want to do this as a business, you can build a team, and that's what we have done. And it's just like a Waffle House or a McDonald's. You're just creating new distribution points, and you get a cut of everything that's sold in your organization. We get paid 8 different ways, and I'll just talk real briefly. And this is Ashley and I again. You can see we got our savings bonus. So what our savings bonus is, it's in lieu of a car program. So once you start making $250 or more in the pay plan and the base commission, the company takes an extra 15% and puts that into an account. Once it hits $10,000, they send you that money, they celebrate you, and then every 4 weeks after that, you will get an additional 15% bonus on top of your base commissions for those 4 weeks. Then we go on trips every year. That was the whole reason my wife joined because she wanted to go to Tahiti. They were going to Tahiti, and she ended up winning the trip. We got to go to Tahiti on an all expense paid trip. These trips are phenomenal. And then we actually just got back from Punta Cana. Everything's paid for. You don't have to come out of pocket anything. And then you can see some of the other savings bonus winners. And then the rest, I'm not going to go into unless anybody needs to know that piece. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Anything you guys want to add, Connie or Bailey?
And that's great. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is easy to talk to people about just, when you're feeling really good, like Bailey said, when you're feeling good and you're sleeping and you're like, you can't help but share. And then when you get the added bonus of losing weight, then it's like you really do want to share.
Yeah.
So, because there's so many people out there that are struggling, with not feeling well and not sleeping and not, and needing to lose weight. So it's like we said, it's a side effect of losing weight is a side effect of the drops, but it's
Yep.
amazing side effect.
Yeah.
And so this helps with inflammation, joint pain.
This will help with that. We also have that other product that is the best inflammation and recovery product that is, and that's called MOA, but we can definitely show you that as well. But yes, this does it will help with inflammation. It will help with joint pain as well.
Hey, the drops, how long do they last you? Like
So
one bottle, how long does it
one
last?
one box is 2 bottles of the day, or the I'm speaking the Canadian drops, or the first bottle and the second bottle. So it lasts 28 days on a normal dose. Some of us bigger people like me, when I was 300 pounds, I had to up the dose just a touch to get rolling, and then was able to back down to the normal dosage.
And then Reese, is Ashley only taking it once a day? You said she was just using
So
it.
she still takes hers. I won't say she takes them 3 times a day and all that, and she's that consistent, but she's taking at least twice a day, every
Okay.
single day. She will not take them. I mean, just getting off anti-anxiety medication for
Yeah.
her and is enough for her to stay on them. I mean, that's money we're not having to spend on that. And then
Hmm.
her mindset, mine is the same way. Bailey, when you talk about like I'm ADD plus I have a lot of stuff going on, so I'm always like, so that stress starts to build. So I was always on an anti-anxiety medication, and I've been able to back that all the way down to almost nothing, just because the drop again. I have to 100% honest. I have had a husband call me who was totally against the drops in the originally and said, "Hey, my wife is out of drops. Is there any way I can buy some from you? Because I cannot take another day without her on the." So the husbands get it real quick, but when the husbands get on it, it's even better. Like I said, I was very skeptical. I never thought these things would work, and they have changed our lives. Just when I was 300 pounds, I was kind of like Bailey. You said you had kind of accepted that's just how you were going to be. That's how you were
Yes.
always going to be. You're always going to be in that mind space. And I was the same way. Had accepted I was never going to lose the weight. I had accepted I was never going to retire. I literally would look at my 401k or my Edward Jones and say, okay, I can look at you can look at the trend and say, if I continue to put this much in, like I'm doing now, which is a lot of money I'm putting in, out of my paycheck. If I retired at 65, I can live until I'm 67 before I ran out of money. So it's like I'm never going to retire. And now,
Yeah.
literally at 45, after 2 years of doing this, I'm going to retire. So
Yeah. Well, and that's another funny story about my husband. We were one evening. I was saying, "Let's just go for a walk," and he said, "You want to go for a walk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go for a walk." And so we get out to the end of our neighborhood, and so the right way to turn right would be the easy way, and turning left would be the harder way. And so I turned left, and he said, "What is going on with you?" He said, "You're choosing the harder route." And I said, "Yeah, I know. What is?" He said, "Is it those magic drops?" And I said, "Yeah, it's those magic drops." So.
you're
But
welcome,
it really
Dad.
does. You do, yeah, you really do feel so good that, I don't know if I said this. I said, I feel like I'm in my 30s instead of my 60s. So,
Yeah, I'll
um,
just say as far as, and then the science behind it, I can tell you my blood work, my cholesterol was high
mm,
for since I've been in my late 20s. My A1C has always hovered in the 6.0, 6.3 range. And my doctor was like, okay, we're getting to that point. And now my A1C after 3 months, once I was on the drops for 3 months, my A1C dropped to 5.1. All of my blood work numbers are all in the green now, what I call in the green, and which none of it was before. So much that Dr. Noble was like, hey, you don't have to come back to me. We can extend this double out because I was going every 6 months. Now I go every year. So um,
Wow.
just on
That's
that side
awesome.
of things. And the only,
That's
again, the
awesome.
only thing I changed in my life was the drops and then the eating, of course. So
Wow, amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Brett has a similar story to your Pepsis. Reese, when you mentioned your 6 Pepsis a day, Brett was up to, what did you say, babe, 5 to 6 cups of coffee?
Yeah, I drink. So I've inconsistently taken the drops for about a week and a half. And yes, I mean inconsistently, like forgetting to do it, going to eat lunch, trying to eat healthy, and figuring out, oh man, I forgot to take the drops. But in a week and a half of being disciplined in the morning, of taking the drops, I usually have to have about 5 to 7 cups of coffee throughout the day. And then I started drinking energy drinks just as a, hey, this holds me over
yeah.
longer. um I have stopped drinking energy drinks completely. Don't need them, don't get caffeine headaches anymore. And I don't have the craving for those 3 to 4 extra cup of coffees throughout the day. So
Right.
I'll have my 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then throughout the day I used to catch myself going back and forth to the coffee pot at work just to make me another cup of coffee. And then when that didn't satisfy me, I would go to the gas station and I'd buy myself a Rain, an energy drink, and I would just down it, and that would get me through the last half of the day. Well, since being on the drops, I have my 1 cup of coffee in the morning. There are multiple times that I don't even finish that. And then I'm good for the rest of the day, and
Yeah.
I've got all the energy that I need. And I'd say that that's been the coolest thing about the drop so far for me. Um, I'm curious. I've lost about 6 or 7 pounds, so that's cool. But I'm not really trying to lose weight. Um, but that, that's just a perk.
Yep.
I'm sleeping 10 times better than I've slept in a while. And I don't wake up groggy, and take a while to wake up throughout the day.
Mhm.
Usually I'd tell you that it takes me 2 to 3 hours to get going in the morning.
It's true.
And Miss Kathy Ferris knows that from growing up with me. Um, but it usually has been, I'll wake up in the morning, just in this past week and a half, and I'm wide awake. Give me about 15, 20 minutes and I'm good to go. But I've loved that because I don't feel like I'm having to rely or lean or crutch on caffeine to get me through the day. So that's been a huge perk for me for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that the energy that you get with the drops is a very because it's methylated form of B12 where it comes from. And it really levels off that energy. So you don't have, it's not a crazy spike and it's not a drop. There's not a crash. So it's just clean level energy. I would always have to like 2:30. I would always be ready for a nap and have to at least like shut my door for a minute, go find somewhere to close my eyes because I would be exhausted. But with these, you just have that nice energy all the way through that afternoon. So it's huge.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions?
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. Thank you for taking the time to help me and all my people get some good
Yes.
information. And I'm just excited. I can't wait